Welcome to Request 101. We're going to be talking today about streamlining your request workflows. I am Mary. I'm a customer success manager here at MaintainX, and my co-host is the wonderful Nick Sankar, who is our customer support manager as well. Nick, I'll give you a second to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. So my name is Nick Sankar. I am the customer support manager here at MaintainX. The great face and the incredible typing skills behind the chat feature. We're definitely happy to help. We have our team joining us, the keyboard warriors. We have Erica, Lewis, and we have Hudson, who's going to be joining as well, who are other members of the support team. So looking forward to helping.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, I'm Mary. I'm your customer success manager here. So I may work with you already. I may be working with you in the future, but essentially I'm here to make sure you understand all the features that are available and help you make the most of the system, really maximize the value that MaintainX can give you. I give webinars. Can't go wrong. All righty. Oops, there we go. So this is what we're going to be covering today. We're going to kick it off with a brief introduction, and then we're going to be looking at why it's advantageous to be using a request module like the one we have in MaintainX. Then we're going to be taking a look at the differences between requester users and the request portal. It's a question we get asked quite a lot here, so we'll be diving into that. And then I'll be giving a live demo as well. So we'll cover how to add users, how to create a request portal, how to submit a request, and on the back end of the system as an admin, how you are going to be receiving and actioning those requests as well. We'll then cover how to get started. And like I said, we'll have our live Q&A to wrap us up today. So just a little bit here about MaintainX, if you're not already familiar. Our mission is to transform the way frontline professionals manage the equipment and facilities that power our world. We're building for the long term, pushing innovation in mobile workflows with real-time analytics and open APIs. And we partner with our customers. We have a world-class team here that develops and supports our product with industry expertise in manufacturing, facilities, and more. And one thing I would like to highlight here is, as a MaintainX customer, you always have access to 3 pillars of support. You've got Nick and his great team there. You have your account manager, and you have your customer success team here as well. So well supported across the board. That's enough background information. Let's dive right into it. So first, we'd like to hear from you guys about how you are currently managing your incoming requests. Perfect. So a varied response here, right? We've got 16% on word of mouth, about 30% on emails and texts, 47% already using the MaintainX request portal, which is great, and 8% on other request management software. So what I'm seeing there is a pretty even split between people using, sort of older methods, more ad hoc word of mouth, email and text, and people already using the request portal. So that's great. Hopefully, for those of you not already using a system, today we'll highlight why we maybe should consider it and how easy it is to get going. And for those of you already using the request portal, I hope we can deepen your understanding a little bit and give you some new tips and tricks. So why? Let's start out with why. Why should we be using a request portal? Well, there's a few reasons here. Firstly, you can improve your organization. Centralize your requests in one convenient space, rather than having multiple email threads, text threads, conversations, things written down on a Post-it note on your door, where things can really start to fall through the cracks. You can put everything in one place and give visibility to those who need it, ultimately saving you time and a fair few headaches. It can help you streamline your internal processes, know exactly who's responsible for what at every step along the way, from a request's creation through to that work's completion. It'll help facilitate communication between your internal team and external parties. The requesters don't just have to be people in your organization. If you would like people to be able to submit requests externally, that's also a possibility, and this will give you the tool to communicate with them as well. It'll also help simplify your work order creation and completion. One thing we see a lot is for those smaller tasks that might come in through requests, it might be difficult sometimes to persuade yourself to go in and make a work order for it and then note that you've done it, rather than just getting it done and kind of forgetting about it. Well, when it comes in through a request, you already have your information there. So you're saving yourself a step. And as a result, you're going to increase your data reliability. All those tasks are being captured and fed through to your reports in MaintainX, ensuring that your data is representative of the work yourself and your team are actually doing. So here, let's chat a little bit about the price of poor communication. We have some stats here from a study done by The Economist about how communication barriers can cause delays or failure to complete projects. That was reported by 44% of the respondents, so almost half of people who participated. It can also result in low morale and missed performance goals. We've identified it can result in safety incidents, inefficiencies and mistakes, and, again, low morale. So really what we want to do through using a request portal is streamline that communication. I've talked a lot about how things can really meander on through the process. And there's delays every step of the way, right? So when a requester submits a request, how long does it take for that to transfer through to the person who is able to approve that? And how long does that take to transfer to the person who might be doing the work? And how many calls does it take for them to know what work they need to do before then communicating that back to the requester to let them know their task has been completed? All of these steps with poor communication are spread out and really increase our mean time to repair. That's always the statistic that we're coming back to here, is poor communication, non-streamlined requests are going to increase your MTTR. When you have a system like MaintainX, we're all centralized, we're streamlined, we're in one place. Your requester submits their request. Immediately, that admin is notified and they can convert that into a work order. Immediately, the person responsible for that work order is notified and knows what they have to do, where, when, and how. And as soon as they've completed that, the notification is back to that requester to let them know the job has been done. So all of those delays have been taken away and your MTTR is reduced and back where you want it to be. So there's some science here. So I hope you now understand kind of why we should be using a request portal. But what are these things I'm talking about? What does it look like? What is it? So firstly, what are requester users? You have two ways of doing requests in MaintainX. You can either use requester users or a request portal. A requester user is anyone who is able to request that a work order be created directly within MaintainX. So you can see an example on the right-hand side here of someone submitting a request as a requester user on the mobile version of the app. It's a pared down version of MaintainX. They can have access to that through either their email, their phone number, or if you are on our enterprise plan, they can have a PIN as well, just like your users using workstation mode have. Their level of visibility is such that they can see requests, teams and users, and messages. They wouldn't be able to see details on assets, locations, your reporting, your purchase orders, anything like that. Really, they kept it to those bare bones that they would need to submit their requests. And in terms of the requests they see, it's their own ones, things they have requested themselves. They wouldn't see other people's requests that have come through. As that work order is being completed, they will not have access to see your time and cost information. It's a very commonly asked question. They'll be able to see when it's actioned, they'll be able to see the procedure, but they will not have access to, what we'd call that sensitive data. They're also restricted from editing the work orders. They can submit the requests, but they're not going to be able to go in and fiddle with the work that you're getting done. Now, the alternative method, a request portal. What's a request portal? Well, as you can see on the right-hand side there, looks a little bit different. It's a site for external users to submit requests directly to MaintainX administrators for work to be completed. So that can be either through a link or a QR code. They don't need any login information whatsoever, so really helpful for external parties. Of course, with not having access to MaintainX, they would see a little bit less information than a request user would. They'll be able to see a notification when their request has been approved or declined, and also when it's been completed. So just a simpler version, really, that might be good for people who don't need detail on your requests. Comparative advantages, requester users that higher level of visibility, the access to communicate directly with the team through messages and comments on work orders as well. And if you are on our enterprise plan, the request form that would be used by requester users is customizable. So if you want to include custom fields on there and really get quite specific with your requests, you're absolutely able to do so. For the request portal, super easy to access it. That's the main advantage here, is ease of use. There should be no difficulties for anyone who has a phone to pull up their phone, open the camera, and scan in that QR code. Big question, how? How do we get started? How do we use this functionality? I'm going to show you. So we're going to be covering the setup of a request portal, and for request users, we're going to cover submitting a request. We're going to cover accepting and actioning a request. And I'll show you what the requester would see as well. So let's slide across here into what should hopefully be a familiar screen. This is my MaintainX account, not a real business, I swear, if you couldn't tell. And what we'll start off by doing is showing you how to invite a requester user. So it's really simple. We're going to head into our Teams and Users tab right here. I'm going to move my face out of the way. And we're going to go on Invite Users. We put in their full name. Let's invite Nick. And we can put in their email. What we need to make sure we do here is select that this is a requester only. The reason being, within your MaintainX license, you have, whatever it is for you, a limited amount of administrator and full user seats. A requester only, you can have as many as you like of those. And by selecting this, it'll ensure that they have access to that very pared back version of MaintainX. We just send invites. Shockingly, nick@gmail.com is not a real email address. But that's all we would need to do. You can even add multiple people in one go here. So very simple to invite your requester users. How would we set up a request portal? Great question, Mary. So we're going to go into our settings here, and we're going to head to features. We would click on request portals right here. And it's important to note, you can have multiple request portals if you would like. If they have different purposes, maybe different teams responsible, maybe you'd like request portals specific to different assets and locations, you can populate this with as many as you like. We'd head to new request portal right here, and we can give it a name. I'm going to call it request portal, very imaginative. You select the welcome text that you would like to appear here, and you can put a description placeholder. So that would appear just like this grade text does here. You choose what you want to appear for people coming on that request form. So here I'm going to say, please leave detailed description of the issue, the location, what you'd like us to do. But really, you can put anything you'd like in there. I'm going to click next. I could, like I say, assign a specific location and asset, or I could have this be a general portal. I'm just going to leave this one general, and there we go. We've created our portal. Now it's accessible two ways, either through the link or the QR code. I can print the QR code here, or I can copy this link and maybe embed that on our website, put it in an email signature, send it out to people, whatever's going to make the most sense for you. I'm going to open up our request portal right here. There we go. So second stage, how do we submit a request? I'm now a requester. I have work I need to do. Let's start with a request portal. This is the one we just built. Of course, you would have your own logo here, your own welcome text, and your own placeholder text as well. But it should be pretty straightforward. I'm going to come in here, just scan this on my phone, or pulled it up on my computer. And I'm going to report that we've got some faulty floor tiles. Looks pretty bad. In the office, please fix it. Hopefully your requesters leave a little bit more information than I did. We can add pictures in here. I'm going to put in some floor tiles. And our newest feature, very exciting, is actually request routing. So you can choose who you would like this to be assigned to. I'm going to select our operations team here. If I select other, that's okay. It's just going to notify all admins on the account. I'm going to leave my contact information right here as well. If I select receive email notifications, I will be notified when this request is approved or declined and when it's completed as well. So easy as that, the request is submitted. Now I'll show you how we would submit a request if we were requester users. So I'm just going to change myself. You see here we have all our lovely information as per usual. I'm going to switch myself so that I am a requester user. There we go. Now you see, very pared back, only requests, messages, and teams and users. To submit new request, it's very much like submitting a very basic form of a work order. I'm going to go to new request. I'm going to report that we have a leak in the ceiling. Again, I can put in a picture here. And I can add in a description. And again, choose who to assign this to. I'm going to select other here. I can also give this a priority. If I did have any custom fields on the enterprise plan, they would appear here as well. And I can go in and I can select the location and an asset if relevant. All of this information can be modified by the admin when it's being converted into a work order. So if anything's put in incorrectly, don't worry about it. You have the capacity to change that. There we go. I've created a request. In either case, if we are using the request portal or if we are submitting a request internally from MaintainX, they'll come through to the same place for you as an admin. And that is our request tab right here. Within here, I'm able to see work orders that are assigned, work requests that are assigned to my teams, ones that are not assigned, and ones that are assigned to other teams as well. So if you only wanted to see things for your teams, you can just hide what's available for other teams. If you want to see none, hide all of them if you like. I'm going to come in here for our leak in the ceiling, I believe, and I'm going to decide to approve this request. You see, all that information in that request has been automatically pushed across into this work order. And now I am able to add in a procedure if I'd like to. I'm able to choose who to assign it to. All of your typical steps in creating a work order, I can put in here. And as I mentioned, if I want to modify any of the information they put in, I'm absolutely able to. Simple as that. We're back to our usual workflows now. Now, if I'd like to decline a request, let's say our faulty floor tiles right here, you can decline a request and you can leave a note as well. There we go. And this will be sent to the requester. There we go. That's how to action a request, whether accepting it or declining it. For your requester, you may be interested to know what are they seeing on their end. So from the request portal, as I mentioned, only when it's approved or declined and when it's completed will they receive a message. And that'll look something like this. They'll receive an email saying your request was declined and the reason will come through here as well. Very similar email when something's been completed. Just to keep them in the loop, it doesn't give the work order, it doesn't give any more detail than this, so you can keep it very simple so as not to give anyone, any external user, too much information. However, for a requester user, we want them to have that information. So I'm going to refresh right here. And here's an example of one that was approved. We can see the status of that work order. We can see who it was assigned to, see the details, and I can also see how much of this procedure has been completed as well. So I can really keep an eye on what's going on. I would like to highlight these comments as well. We've recently added @mentions into the comments, so if you wanted to ping a user directly who is working on this, you would be able to do so within here. And I believe that just about covers us for the visuals of requests. Let's hop back on over here. Now you know what it looks like, you know how to use it. So how do you actually get going? How do we start using this? Firstly, verify your plan eligibility. So for essential customers, you have the ability to have requester users. For premium customers, you can have requester users and request portals. You can choose who to route requests to, and you can have required fields as well. In our enterprise plan, you have the addition of having custom fields for your request user forms. Important to note, you can't customize that request portal, but for the requester users, you would be able to have that differentiation there. If you're on a plan that, maybe you think you might need the one up, you might need some other features, please reach out to us. Contact your account manager or support team to be redirected, and we can evaluate that with you. Step 3, profit. You're using it, you're going to save time, better communication, and everything's running just as it should be. So 2 quick pieces of housekeeping before we get to our live Q&A. First things first, as you may have noticed if you came to our last session as well, Nick and I are running this series of MaintainX 101 where we cover basic features. So we'd like to know which feature you would like to see discussed in an upcoming webinar. Claudine, if you could pop those up. We'd love to hear from you. So it looks like our lead answers here are procedures and time and cost tracking as well. Yeah, very interesting points. So we'll be sure to note this down. And of course, you'll be receiving communications from us within the next couple of weeks about what our next webinar is and the date and time as well. So you can hop in. And as usual, if it isn't something you can attend, register anyway. We'll be able to send you the recording. Our MaintainX office hours, we will be hosting these tomorrow. We did a session last month. It was very successful. It was a lot of fun. So that's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern or 10 a.m. Pacific. It's more personal, that one. It's usually a smaller session. You'll be seeing mine and Nick's faces again, and we'll be answering your questions live. If you'd like to come on and ask us, you can speak with us directly. You can share your screen. We'll hop into your system and get things answered, fixed, sorted for you, really as you like. And we'll be going over some best features and how to get the most out of your MaintainX plan as well. So make sure not to miss that. And now, I think we're ready for some questions. So Nick and I will do our best to answer as many as we can. Nick, why don't you hit me?
Absolutely. So this was fantastic. We did receive a lot of questions in the chat. I wanted to start with the first one I saw. So how can we appoint one admin who will receive and approve all requests? And again, currently all admins can see new requests.
Okay, yeah, so this is a good question. And it is possible. If you're on our enterprise plan, you are able to use some custom permissions and you can dictate who is able to see requests. So if you did want only one person or only one team in your organization able to see requests with the other admins limited, reach out to our support team. They can help you get that set up.
Amazing, amazing. Another one we received was, can we assign requests to more than one team?
Good question. No, currently only one team can be assigned by a requester to each request. However, when you're converting a request into a work order, as I mentioned, you're able to edit that information. So just like usual in MaintainX, if you want to assign 2 teams to a work order or 2 teams and 3 individuals, you're able to do so at that stage.
Amazing. The next one we received was, can the request portal be customized?
Good question. In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. So in terms of customizations, you can add in your own text, on that placeholder with the welcome text. You can add in your own logo as well. But in terms of adding in custom fields, like you could with the request form, that's not something that's currently available on the portal itself.
Amazing. The next one we received was, can we limit visibility of requests to specific locations or assets or teams?
Yes, again, this is a custom permission, so that would be within the scope of our enterprise plan, but you could create a team and link specific assets and locations to that team. Once it's completed, you would add specific requester users to that, and again, connect with our support team, your account manager, who can apply those permissions and make sure everyone sees only what you want them to see.
Oh, amazing. Well, we did receive a number of questions relating to requester routing. So would you be able to actually showcase requester routing?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just hop back into my system here. There we go. So request routing is essentially what allows you to assign teams here. This is that feature. And how you would get that set up is you go into your settings, bottom left corner. We're going to go into features, and it actually lives within work orders here, as it then appears on the work order. So hop into your work order settings, scroll on down, and you'll see request routing right here. Then you have the ability to choose which teams you would like to be on here. Now, you don't have to use this. If you don't select this, this field won't appear. But if you do want to have specific teams able to be selected, you would put them in here. And you can also add other, which would direct to all admins. You also have the option here of making this field mandatory. So if you want people to have to fill this in, simply check this box and you're good to go.
Amazing.
There we go.
Beautiful. So we have 3 more questions, maybe 4. Can requesters use can requester users see comments on the work orders they submit? And if so, if yes or no, do they get the email notifications when the work orders are updated and completed?
Yeah, that is a really good question. And so you can communicate through comments for your work orders. For your requests, you're also able to use those @ mentions that we were discussing as well. And you could go into your account and you could take a look at your notification settings. We did just revamp those as well there. So your requester users can go into their settings and choose what they would like to be notified for. Typically, that would be when it's created, approved, declined, or completed.
Awesome. Next one we received was, are you able to have a request portal accessible on a tablet, one fixed on the wall, or for procedure, for production worker usage, I mean? So they wanted to know if you can add request portals on tablets.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the request portal is accessible through either a link or a QR code. So how I pulled it up on my computer is just through going to that link. So you could feasibly do exactly the same thing on a tablet and have that up all the time so that people are able to submit requests, whenever they're available and whenever they're passing.
Amazing. Next one was request the portal's customized fields. Is it only available on the enterprise plans?
Yeah, so again, it's for the request users that we can customize that. On the request portal for now, you aren't able to put in custom fields on any plan.
Okay, beautiful. And this last question, can the request portal link be sent both by emails and by phones at the same time?
So do you mean the link to access the request portal?
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a standard URL link, so you can send that however you would like to. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I think that was I think we covered most of our questions.
Yeah, and those are good questions as well. On an ongoing basis, as I mentioned, you do have your 3 prongs of support here in the form of your wonderful support team, your account manager, and the customer success team as well. So if you have questions that come up as you start using this feature, as you deepen your understanding of it, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are always happy to help in any way that we can.
Amazing.
And then last thing before we let you go, nice big thank you to everyone for joining us here today. And one more quick reminder that we do have our office hours tomorrow, Friday the 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific or 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. So make sure not to miss that. As soon as you leave this webinar today, it will prompt you for some feedback on how you found our session. So please feel free to give us an honest review. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and we're always learning. So don't be shy and pop any thoughts you have in there.
Beautiful. Thank you again so much.
Thank you guys so much. From Nick and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.